Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Wendy, and today I'm going to go over all of my historical fall recommendations. Okay, so I've categorized this a little bit, and I tried to just do like a little bit of each. There are going to be some that I've read, but most of these I have not read, but I have looked into, and they sound really great to me, and they sound like they would be perfect for fall. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with some of the ones that I have read. The first one and the highest recommended one that I will give you is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and it definitely gives me fall vibes. I adored this one. It is definitely heavy. It follows the Great Depression, so there's obvious reasons why this is heavy, but it is something that I think everyone should read, especially if you love historical fiction. Kristen Hanna just has a way with words that I just can't describe. But this is taking place in Texas, and it is following Elsa, and then eventually following her journey as she tries to find somewhere that is better. So for sure, put this on your list. It doesn't really need to be read in fall. This is just one that I think looks like a fall book, but also would be a good one to read in the fall. But you should really just pick this up at any time. The next book that I would recommend that I have read is Victoria. I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is for this one. It's following Queen Victoria, and she is 18 years old when she is told that she is now the Queen of England because all of the people above her have passed away. She was not supposed to be queen. She was never really in line to be queen, and because of circumstances and several that were above her passing away, she ends up being the one who is named queen. And she is just like, I'm 18 years old, I have no idea what to do, and I definitely did not expect this. I thought it was such a great book. I love reading about royals, and especially because this is based off of a true story, obviously that makes it so much more interesting to me. There's a little bit of romance, and I just love how she wrote this book. Highly, highly recommend. There's also a show on this that kind of followed this book and then continued. I don't know if it's any good. I really haven't watched much of it. I did watch a little bit of it, and I did think it was pretty great, but I just never continued. The next book that I have read that I would recommend, especially for fall time, is Outlander. This one I think is a great fall read just simply because this takes place in Scotland, and I highly recommend this series. I watched the show first and am now working my way through the books. I think that they are just really great historical fiction reads. This is also something that you could classify as a mixture of fantasy as well, because there is some time travel with this. But mainly this is pretty true to historical fiction. The timelines and the clans and the names of a lot of people are actually accurate, and so she really did her research with these. I will say that there is some spice in these books, but I think that they're pretty easily skippable because this book is pretty plot heavy. So you're not going to really have a lot of chapters that you're going to have to constantly be skipping, and I just am really enjoying going through the book slowly, and I'm in the middle of the second one, and it's just so good. So highly recommend. This one would be a great thing to start in the fall time. Okay, so I think that is all of the ones that I have read as far as just general historical fiction. I'm trying to put this into categories. So the next one that I would say looks like a great fall read would be Beneath a Scarlet Sky. I have not read this one. I just think that it looks like something that is beautiful and perfect for the fall time. This, I believe, is in World War II. Let me double check. Yeah, World War II, and it takes place in Italy. So I think that this would be something that would be a great thing to pick up in the fall time, and I definitely want to get to this one. Okay, so then the next one that I would recommend, because I think Stephen King obviously would be great to read in the fall time because he's typically more of a horror writer. However, this one is historical fiction that he wrote. I have not read this one, but is one that I would really like to get to. I don't know for sure that I am a Stephen King fan yet. I've only tried a little bit of like one of his books, and I just don't jive with his writing, but I do want to give him a solid try. So I usually say that I give authors 3 tries and they're out, and I really haven't even finished one book of his yet. So I want to get to this one simply because it's historical fiction, and I think that that would be the highest chance of me liking it. It is following President John F. Kennedy's assassination. I definitely think that this would be great to read in the fall time. Okay, and then the last one that I have listed under just general historical fiction, but obviously this would be the subgenre of classic, is Rebecca. I think that this one sounds like the perfect fall classic book, has gothic vibes, is set in a large, haunting mansion. It's about a woman who is swept into a romance with a rich widower and whisked away to his mansion where his late wife's presence looms large and threatens their marriage. So has a little bit of spooky vibes. Perfect for fall time. The main reason that this is classified as historical is just because of the time period that it's written in. I would like to get to this one this fall. Not sure if I will, but it is on the list of maybes. Okay, and then another one that I do not have, but I saw and thought it would be great, is called A Fall of Marigolds. For obvious reasons, this would make a great fall historical fiction. It's actually set in September, so it's perfect for now, in 1911, but it is dual timeline. So it takes place in 1911, but also in the future World Trade Center catastrophe that happened. And I think that this is something that I would really like to make a high priority for fall because it sounds like something that I would really, really love. Then lastly, on the general historical fiction, I have Homeseeking. This is one that I have had recommended by so many booktubers, but specifically Ashlyn is the one that comes to mind. I love her videos, I love following her videos, and she has not stopped raving about this book. And then her husband Ian read it and he loved it, and I've just heard so many good things. So this takes place in China, which I have not read any historical fiction there, and it follows through 6 decades, war and famine. It's multiple characters, and I believe it's also a little bit of a literary fiction. So I picked this for fall because I just think the cover looks like it would be a great fall read. But again, I think a lot of historical fictions honestly make great fall reads, but this is just one that I had in mind for what I want to look at in the fall time. Okay, so then we're moving on to historical fantasy. The first one that I would suggest is The Lovely War. I wanted to get to this last year. I did not get to it last year like I wanted, but it has some mythology in it. It has multiple timelines in it and multiple characters. I just have heard nothing but good things about this. It's a romance. Just sounds like something that would be perfect for the fall time. I also think that the cover really seems like a great fall read. In the perilous days of World War I and II, the gods held the fates and the hearts of 4 mortals in their hands. I have not heard a bad review about this book. Then I have The Lost Apothecary, and I have read this book. This is dual timeline historical fiction where this apothecary person makes like all these herbal remedies and stuff, and essentially it's following where a lot of women are being abused and just suppressed, and they go to this lady who then helps them to poison these people and their husbands or men that are just abusive and different things like that. So there are trigger warnings for that. I thought this was a really great book, and I was actually very surprised by this, so I picked this for fall because I think any historical fantasy makes a great fall read, but it has some gothic vibes there, so definitely think that it would be a good one to check out. Then I have Alchemy of Secrets. Okay, so this one just came out, and it has been high on my list because Stephanie Garber wrote this, and I loved her series, Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is, I believe, her first adult fantasy, and so I am definitely excited to read this one. It is gothic, historical fiction, dark academia. It's set in an old movie theater, has folklore, and she is searching to find if magic is real. I mean, the cover screams fall, the vibes scream fall. Dark academia, I feel like, is always something great for fall. So I have this high on my list to read, and I'm really hoping that I love this one. The next one that I have on my list would be the Timeless series. I read the first one of this and I absolutely loved this. I definitely want to get to the second one. I think these would make really great fall reads. They are romance and Christian fiction and dual timeline. And I classified this in this section here because it has a little bit of a fantasy element, with her living in two different bodies in two different timelines. So it makes it a fantasy as well. So that's why I put that here. So then the next section I have is Christian historical fiction. The first one that I have on my list that I saw that looked like a really great fall read is The Curious Inheritance of Blakely House. And this one is gothic, and she inherits a house from a clockmaker from a long lost uncle that she did not know she had. And it has some mystery in it and just some darker vibes. So I feel like this one and the cover alone speaks to being a great historical fall read, but definitely the gothic vibes are there for that one. And then the next one I have is The Fur Trader's Lady. This one I'm actually going to get to this month. I have had so many people talking about this and really enjoying it. And so I really want to make this a priority, but this is a romance and it is set in the wilderness. It looks like the perfect book to read in the fall time. I definitely want to get to this. It's on KU, as well as her Timeless series. They are also on KU. And then last, but definitely not least, would be the Candle in the Darkness series. If you are not new here, you have probably heard about this series by me 1,000,001 times. It is one of my all-time favorite Christian historical fiction series. I would say it is my all-time favorite Christian historical fiction series. I want to reread this. I've already reread it a few times and I love it every single time. The faith content in this is just spectacular. I adore these characters and they have stuck with me ever since I first read it in high school, which was many years ago. It is just an outstanding series. And so I just think that they look like perfect fall reads, but I will never not recommend these in a historical fiction video because I absolutely adore them, and anything by Lynn Austen. I've read several of her other books and they're just always outstanding books, and I highly recommend them. That is all I have for you in this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have a historical fiction book that you would highly recommend for the fall time. And until next time, friends, remember to read what inspires you. Bye!